Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. This is part two. Somebody just sent me the other logo under the same name, sent me this one also today. Now, I'll admit the one she sent me and want to know how they did it. The dots are smaller and they got rounded fonts. I don't have a round font that's thick. So I used Arial Black. So we're just going to grab our text and go Arial Black and start typing Billia. But of course, it doesn't type Arial Black because my default is Arial. So you sometimes click on it and then go to Arial Black. And if since you've used it recently, it should be right there. Left click, right click, make an outline. I want to go ahead and make that outline thick so you can either double click here or hit your F12 key. And when it's too thick, make it. It's always neat to have this thing kind of out of the way so you can see it actually happen. That's probably thick enough. Now, I will admit the original looks better because it is a rounded font. I just don't have a rounded font. Now, I want to Control D and make a duplicate of that font and just move it out of the way. And if you've watched enough of my videos, I don't like moving stuff out of the way, but in this case, it doesn't matter because we don't have to have anything that precise. And if I was doing it for real, I'd make my dots smaller. My dots are way too big. And that's very easily done by just, well, let me just do it real quick. Control D, now they won't be perfect this way. I don't like that. And I can mirror that join over. And that looks pretty good. And then you could always set your nudge factor smaller or bigger. Make it like 0.01 and take those and just nudge them down or nudge them up to get them. That's pretty close. And I think if we do it one more time, Control D and move it over just one time. And you'll understand for the video if it's not perfect. Trying to zoom in here, I should have grouped those together so I can group them. I'm going to hold down the shift to grab both, Control G to group them together, and then I can move them around a little bit. Try to get those, I made a duplicate. Move those over. Try to get the dots. So I'm going to shift key again, Control G to group. That's good enough, and if you see it wrong, you'll understand. Control G to group them together. Bring it over here, just barely fits. Grab everything, go to intersect. And this is where you kind of want to nudge. Let's set our nudge factor back on 8 inches. And one, you could always take your dots away and just leave it like, never even thought about that. Then you don't have to nudge at all. But we do need to make these letters white. So we're going to grab the white fill. It's way up top. There it is. Now, when we do this, well, I don't even have to do that. This is still a font, so I can just left click white. Now it took away our dots, but if we go to Object, Order, Backup Page, Order, Front of Page, well, what happened to my dots? You know, it might just because I didn't segregate them. Let's see if we can't nudge those things out of the way for a second while they're way down there. Let's make this font white now. And now let's move this back. See, and we need to put them Object, Order, Front of Page. There we go. Now with this one, we can pick any color you want. And like, I don't have that color that they used on the original drawing, and probably doesn't matter, but you could always grab the Smart Fill tool and grab the eyedropper and grab a sample of that color. And then you'd have to individually fill them in because it's not so much of a font. Then I would group this together, and remember I said I didn't care if we moved them around or not because I'm just going to eyeball this, but I'm going to go to Object, Order, Backup Page. So when I put these in here, I'll be able to immediately see what I've done. That's probably about as easy as it can get. Now, one thing, when you're putting an outline around an object, and here's a good reason, that outline around the back, let's go ahead and hit F12 on your keyboard and make the outline black and make it, there we go, and scale with object, real important. So now when we make this bigger or smaller, that outline will stay the same. See, the outline is predominantly about the same as it is like there. I probably didn't do that on the first font, so that's why it's thicker. Let's back up here. Double click on that font. Scale with object is really important, especially the way I'm drawing. Because that way, because I draw really big, and then I'm going to reduce it to whatever size I want. So that looks pretty close to the original. I'm pretty proud. If I had a rounder font, I think it would look better than, and I think it would look just as good as theirs. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.